Starting with the wave of immigration raids across the country, New York included, the president's border czar, Tom Homan, said this weekend that ICE and Border Patrol agents don't need probable cause to detain suspected undocumented migrants because they, quote, get our typical facts based on the location, the occupation, their physical appearance. Homan's statements follows him promising to ramp up ICE actions in New York, especially if Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani wins the mayor's race and resists ICE actions as he said he will. Are you worried about what may be coming to New York, Congressman?
Well, this is the race-based theory that they're trying to propose.
Racial profiling.
That's correct. And you and I will put on a pair of jeans and sneakers and we'll fit that criteria that they're trying to push. I believe that America is better than that. I think the courts will reject something like that. I don't think he's going to be able to come into New York City and perpetrate that type of action. We will resist. The Congressional Hispanic Caucus has gone to court to resist. We have visited detention centers to resist. We have also legislatively stuck with the Democratic caucus. We voted as a bloc to resist. Senator Padilla put his body on the line to resist. So we are at the forefront on resisting, and that's why a recent Gallup poll show that immigration is now viewed favorably among Americans. They see it as a good thing as opposed to a bad thing, which was the attitude several months back.
Now, talking about that Gallup poll, with nearly 4 out of 5 Americans calling its impact on the country a good thing, immigration. It appears even some Republican voters are changing their minds on immigration following this purge. Congressman, how do Democrats capitalize on this shift going into next year's midterm elections and beyond?
Well, the reason why the poll reveals those numbers is because they're feeling it on Main Street. Small businesses are feeling it as they're getting some of their workers deported. But people are not providing the kind of foot traffic that America needs on a Main Street to have these small businesses be successful. Remember, small businesses are the biggest employers in the country, not the big box stores, not the corporation. The small mom and pop stores are hurting across America. And this is driving the shift in the opinion polls. So we're looking to make sure that America once again understands that we are a nation of immigrants. It's not a bad word to be an immigrant. And that's because it's hurting in their pockets.
Now, staying with that, the Trump administration has to the end of the week to appeal a federal judge's decision to block the president's order restricting birthright citizenship. After the judge granted class action to a lawsuit on behalf of immigrant parents and children, you're the first formerly undocumented immigrant to serve in the U.S. Congress. And today, the Hispanic Caucus chair as that. What are your thoughts watching the 14th Amendment under attack like this by the administration?
It's under attack, and it's under attack because, again, they're trying to push a racist theory. It's almost like separate but equal. It's the same kind of theory they pushed when they had segregation. One state will be able to recognize birthright citizens while the other doesn't. These state rights approach perpetrated separate but equal, theory that was prominent in the Plessy versus Ferguson's case. Right. So this is no different. They're trying to say, you know, Texas, you don't have to recognize birthright citizens. New York, you could. But Texas, you cannot. 2 countries split down the middle. He's splitting our nation in half. It's this separate but equal attitude and theory has been traditionally, historically rejected by the Supreme Court, and I foresee that it will be rejected again.
Now, let's turn to the Republican tax and spending bill, the BBB, and its potential impact on nearly 63 million Latinos living in the United States. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, nearly 30% of Medicaid enrollees are Latino. This bill cuts about $1 trillion from Medicaid. The president's immigrant purge has disproportionately targeted Latino. This bill just handed DHS about $150 billion for the border wall, immigrant detention centers, and enforcement. And nearly a quarter of SNAP recipients are Latino, according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. 3 million people will be kicked off SNAP, according to the CBO. As Hispanic Caucus chair, what are you hearing from caucus members reacting to this bill?
What I'm hearing from Latinos is that those that voted for Trump are making a complete U-turn. They're changing their tune. They understand now how he's hurting them. There's 488,000 Medicaid recipients in my district, and there's over close to 300,000 individuals that receive SNAP, food stamps. They're being hurt. New Yorkers, 1 million New Yorkers will lose their health care. 17 million Americans will lose their health care. SNAP is going to be deeply cut. It will hurt the ability of people to put food on their table. So this is happening in relatively a short period of time. And this is all being done so he can give a handsome tax cut to the very rich donors of his campaign.
Returning back to the 2017, which was
That's correct.
Which was reversed by Biden-Harris administration.
And that's correct. And so people are understanding that. In addition to that, the people that he's deporting are not the violent criminals that he said that he will be deporting. It's working class people, mom and dads, that are now being split from their families in a rough way and find themselves in some detention center getting ready to be deported back, including U.S.-born children. I met with them in Mexico.
Now, I'm out of time, but I have to ask you this. You're one of the most influential figures in New York politics, the city's most powerful Latino leader, according to the New York Times. And this week, you endorsed Zoran Mamdani in the city's mayor's race, following your fellow New York Democratic congresspeople Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Nydia Velázquez, and Jerry Nadler. What made you come out for Mamdani, Congressman?
I've been fighting for affordability all my life. Our folks are being pushed out of our neighborhoods, but we cannot condition the nominee of the Democratic Party. We cannot say to a nominee, you're too Afrocentric, or you're too Latino, or too liberal to be our nominee. Once the people have spoken, the Democratic Party must come around that nominee. And in this case, the people spoke loudly, and they said that our nominee is Assemblyman Zoran Mamdani. And so we got to galvanize around him. We may not agree with him 100%, but we cannot condition the full opinion of our voting base, the Democratic Party. We got to strengthen our party. We got to make it stronger and resilient, and we do that by falling right behind our nominee, and in this case is Assemblyman Zoran Mamdani.
I've got to ask you one more. Your colleague, Congressman Ro Khanna, said that on Tuesday he'll introduce an amendment to force a vote demanding the full Epstein files be released to the public, and that the Speaker will have to call a vote and put every Congress member on record. Is that the way to go on this story?
I think we ought to know what's behind the Epstein scandal. The president seems to be backpedaling. The attorney general seems to be full speed backpedaling. A bunch of Republicans that all of a sudden were talking about during their campaign about conspiracy theories are now calling this a conspiracy theory, because there may be a couple of names that will be, if not embarrassing, criminal.
Congressman Adriano Espaillat, thank you for being with us.
Thank you
for coming to the studio.